My dear good friend, Glenn Rodger, Mr. Newmarket, Mr. Aurora. How are you doing today?
I'm having the second best day of my entire life. But more importantly, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Now that I'm starting my day with a conversation with you, I think everybody should start the day with a conversation with you, Glenn.
Can I ask you a question?
Ask me a question.
Did you hear about the two antennas that got married? The wedding wasn't that good, but the reception was excellent.
Zing.
That's my favorite joke. Whenever I meet anybody, I'm walking around. Depends on their age, though. If
That's
they're
a
like young,
classic.
they don't know what antennas are. But I like saying that. I got to figure out what's going on, and I just go from there.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's going on?
With the word antenna, you're definitely limiting your audience by everyone that's at least 35 and older, I think, right? Glenn, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What do you do?
Well, I do photography in the community. I like to travel, and I just love photography. So I live and breathe photography, and I shoot events in the community. I've photographed at the Budweiser stage. I photographed the Queen of England at Buckingham Palace. Um, I like things that move. So I love people. I love dealing with people. When the pandemic came, I took up birds in flight, which is the hardest thing to do as far as, shooting, photographing birds. Try to stay away from using the word shooting, especially talking about the Queen of England or something. But so Birds Canada gave me a shout out and they gave me all this stuff for one of my photos, and Canon USA gave me a shout out, and I just like doing photos. I just like moving. I just like staying busy, keep going, and I'm just passionate about photography, and I'm happy to be alive on this planet. That's pretty
That
well it.
that's awesome. So what kind of motivated you to get into photography?
Well, I've always been into photography. I used to have a 110 millimeter, this little camera back in the day, and I would take pictures at parties and stuff. And I would always get I would always get people just doing something coming out of their comfort zone. And then when I was going to Scotland in 2012, I bought a little pocket camera, and I was able to surround myself with positive people who helped me. Yourself, Ross, who runs the camera club in Newmarket, was a huge help for me. I have a studio. Recently opened a photography studio in my basement to do headshots. So I've been staying pretty busy with that. I haven't really advertised or anything, just word of mouth. And I've been doing a lot of real estate agents and doing events. And we did an event together at Fox Club Design, and that went over really well. And that's led to quite a bit of business for
Mhm.
headshots. I do events in the local community, theater. I love live music, like live music photography. I really have a passion for that too, because there's no rules. And I love shooting bands like heavy metal or just bands that are giving people are showing emotion, and
Mm.
that's what I'm looking for, and that's what I try to bring out of people when I'm doing headshots or whatever I'm doing. It's all about emotion and just enjoying life, living in the moment.
So you've built a home studio where professionals and people can come and get headshots from you at your house. Do you also travel as well?
I have a portable studio and I travel. I've been doing that for a few years now, about 6 or 7 years. So I go into offices or people's homes, and I bring my own lighting. And it takes me about 15 minutes at the most to set up. And yeah, I can, once I set up, which takes me about 10, 15 minutes, then I can do as many headshots as you need, and we go from there. So I've going into businesses. I've gone to real estate offices. I do a lot of outdoor photography, outdoor headshots in the summer, with natural light, and I just keep going. And everybody's been happy, and it just keeps going. I'm excited, and I can say a few words in every language. So whatever language you speak, I'm gonna be able to say something to bring a smile out of you. So one
Yeah,
thing I like to say.
you definitely have a way of dismantling any kind of hesitation that people have. So, and one of those things that you do is you find a way to kind of connect with somebody, even with a complete stranger, right?
I try. Well, so it's all about getting the photo, getting the money shot. And I just, whatever I have to say, I'll ask them, what's your interests? What movie star you like? Lately, it's been Taylor Swift. Everybody's got something. They say Taylor Swift, like either people love her or hate her, or, she's involved. She's taken over the NFL football. I think she's now the starting quarterback for Kansas City. I'm kidding. She's dating the tight end, but it's all positive energy. Just keep it going. That's what I try to do.
That's awesome. Walk us through what an average day looks like for you, Glenn. for your business and the way you run your business? What's the day look like?
Well, usually I'm up late, stay editing or doing, getting photos ready to deliver if I have deadlines. And then I just, whatever's happening that day, if I'm shooting, I shoot for local newspapers and I'll do events for that. I'll be doing the headshots or I'll be, talking to somebody. If I'm not working, if I don't have anything happening, I still shoot. I'll shoot nature photography. I'll go up, to go for a road trip. But all I want to do is just take photos. That's all I do. Take
That's
photos.
awesome. Any like if you look back on 2023, was there one event or one opportunity? You talked about live music. Is there anything recently in 2023 that really stood out as a highlight for you in regards to photography?
Um, oh man, I can't really think of anything that stood out. Like, there's so many things. I went to New York City. I like road trips. Every year I take at least 10-day road trip, or I try to, and I go to the United States. So going to Watkins Glen, in Watkins Glen, there's got to be about 20 waterfalls within a 5-minute drive. So that was really cool. I just love walking around in New York City and taking photos. But as
How about
far
how about how about bands? So what's been, you talked about your passion being photographing live music. What's the highlight so far?
Well, the highlight is, so I'm a huge Allman Brothers fan. If you don't know who the Allman Brothers are, Greg Allman was married to Cher for like 15 minutes. Well, I think they were married for a year or so, but they're only together for a few weeks, I think. I don't know. But so they have a band. He's passed now, but one of the guys who was in the band is Warren Haynes, and he started the band in 1994 called Government Mule. So I've photographed them in Edinburgh, Scotland. I went to Cleveland to see them May 9th in 2023, which is a big deal. They played in Toronto September 13th at Massey Hall. It was my first time and only time so far at Massey Hall. So I photographed them, and I listen to Government Mule every day. My favorite.
Did you not meet Warren Haynes that night at in Toronto?
I've met him many times. I've talked to him. I photographed him in Edinburgh, and I was actually, you get, for shooting live music, generally you get to shoot the first 3 songs. So I got to hang out with the band roadies and family while the show was on, and then I was hanging out around after, and I was like, it was amazing. And especially Scotland. My parents are from Scotland, so I've been there many times. There's a family, and but the photograph Government Mule in Scotland was one of my highlights. Photographing the Queen of England and Buckingham Palace was probably the highlight as far as photos go.
That was a great shot, by the
And that
way.
was like the greatest thing. I got passion for that music. It's like southern rock. If you're gonna listen to one song, listen to Soul Shine, either by the Allman Brothers or Warren Haynes, and life is good. And if you want to talk to me, if you come up to me and say Government Mule or say Warren Haynes, you're gonna be my best friend. I'm telling you right now.
That's awesome. What are you going to be implementing in your business in the coming months? So what are you excited about developing in your business?
Well, right now I'm concentrating on my home studio. So I haven't really advertised that. It's been word of mouth, which has been doing pretty good. But I'm gonna start sharing that on social media. Um, I'm gonna get some local newspapers to put it on there and to share it. And the so that's it. I'm just working on that, and but I like things, like I don't want to pressure things. I just kind of move along at a pace, and I'm getting calls almost daily on for headshots, and that's moving along pretty good. That's working for me right now. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm concentrating on.
Talk to us a little bit about what that client journey is like when somebody, starting from somebody picking up the phone and giving you a call. Hey, I need a headshot. What does that look like? So start with the very first phone call and then walk me through the steps in the process so that our listeners will have a clear idea of what to expect if they call to hire you for headshots.
So when I speak to somebody, first thing I do is just try and build a relationship, like just trying to get them to smile or something. Just, I don't necessarily tell a joke, but if I can tell they speak another language, I'll try and, work that language in. If they're from India, Aap kaise ho, Zindagi bahut achhi hai. So I'll work that in there, and go from there and just build a relationship. And then whatever time, like I can work, like basically if they have a schedule, I can in the mornings or evenings, whatever, we'll work something out. And then I'll make sure that I get the best photo. Like I'm just confident, and I'll show them the photo right there. Like when we're doing the photos, like, okay, what do you look at this? This is what I'm looking for. Some people want to smile, some don't. I'll make sure I get both. they wanted to change outfits, there's a change room in the basement there, the washroom. And yeah, so I just it's all about, for me, it's about energy. It's about energy, and that's what seems to work for me.
That's awesome. So it's finding those clients that you click with, that you have the same kind of energy, the same kind of vibe. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter what the person's like. I am going to bring positive energy out of them. At least if I don't, it's a lack of training. Some people, there's always the odd person that's like, they'll say, "Can we stop talking and just do the photo?" So I just slow things right down. I'll say, "Look, I'm just talking because what I'm doing is trying to get the best photo of you, and it just takes a few more minutes, and we go from there." But I'm confident it's always going to work. So that's
Well,
it.
I mean, you do, like you had said, you shoot a lot for publications. And I know for a fact that you do a lot of events that are government related. So, with politicians. And I think if there's one thing that stands out about you from my observation is like you are at your prime when you are photographing an event with hundreds of politicians because I don't know if you do your research before you go in, but everybody. That's the one thing about Glenn. So if you don't know Glenn, Glenn knows everybody. But when you see, and I've witnessed it, when you see Glenn, at a government event where there's politicians from all different cities, all different towns, people that obviously don't get along, people that get along, you're able to navigate that so well. Honestly, unlike anybody else that I've ever seen, like nonverbal, you know how to read cues from people that don't want to be photographed with other people, and you've got some kind of spidey sense with that kind of thing. So, like, talk a little bit about that.
Okay, well, the number one thing is I don't gossip. Like, so whatever's said to me, it stays with me. So I don't so I know what to photograph and what not to, but keeping my mouth shut and not sharing anything about anything, and that's like a key point, because people, like, I just don't share gossip. I support everybody. If you're an elected official, I support you. It doesn't matter if everybody doesn't like you. I don't care. You know what I mean? There are people you voted in. There's people that like you. So not worrying about the negative. I don't worry about that, right? As far as photographing, like, I don't get nervous in any situation. The only time I've ever been nervous or been flustered was the time when I met Bobby Orr. So I was at the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame, and he wasn't announced. Just he was like, it was like an extra person was coming, but they didn't say who. And then so I see him, and no one knew who was there. I was like, Bobby Orr. I go, Bobby Orr. I'm like freaked out. He's a hockey player, played for Boston Bruins, won the Stanley Cup. Don Cherry was his coach. Don Cherry. And so that was amazing. And so I got my picture with him, and that was as far as the highlight of anything. That's the only time I was ever like, whoa. But other than that, it doesn't. I've been around like different stars, whatever, and I just in my zone. So I don't come out of my zone, and I just except for Bobby Orr, and
You
I
don't get
just in
flustered. There's no
never
flustering
nothing.
Glenn, unless you're
No, I
Bobby Orr, and then Glenn's gonna blush. I got one last one for you. I'm gonna throw at you. All right, the big question. And we talked about music, and I said I was gonna tie another question at the end. You're stranded on a deserted island. You can only take one album with you. What album is that going to be, Glenn?
one album. I'd probably take Leonard Skinner, One More for the Road. I love that album. I grew up through it when I was a teenager. That was my favorite album. Freebird is on there. There's a song called Simple Man that some other bands covered that's amazing. So I've lived my life like that. Like, believe in a higher power, which I believe in a higher power. I pray every morning. I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. So I just say thank you for another day, and that Simple Man, not being bought into this whole greed and what everybody's fighting. Like, I dance to my own drum, like I'm doing my thing, and I just kind of try and work around whatever else is doing. But that was it. That album's like amazing. I could go on talking about that forever, but no, that's
You,
the one.
you
Gotta
definitely do.
mention one.
Yeah, and Warren
Yeah.
Haynes too. You definitely do dance to your own drum. Thank you for being you, Glenn Rodger, and thank you for being my friend. Anyways, so how can people get in touch with you, Glenn? Give us an idea.
Well, you can call me 647-283-2013. Don't call between 2 and 4 in the morning, because I might not be able to answer the phone at that time. And that's a joke. Some people go, what do you mean? You know, but you can text me, you can reach me at Glenn, Glenn at Glenn at GlennRodger.com. So that's RODGER. So it's Glenn, Glenn at GlennRodger.com. There's a D and there's no S.
I'll
So a
put
lot
all
of people
the
put
yeah,
it.
I'll put all the contact information in the
So
show notes there. All
sure.
right, Glenn. I really appreciate the
Okay.
time, my brother. Thank you so much. Before I let you go, give us one more joke.
Do you know why the Scarecrow won an award? Because he was outstanding in his field.
Zing. All right, brother. Take care.
Take care, man.
Bye.
Thanks.